You mean they're not supposed to join in groups with other people and create more government?
Exactly, with their NGOs.
Right.
But, and to take it further, to take development going further, one of the things they push, one of the things you'll notice is they push all these one-size-fits-all policies, and that's what really makes it dangerous, is that the kinds of development and things that they push, they want every community, regardless of their economy, regardless of their population's wishes, no matter what, is to push one-size-fits-all stuff on everyone. I mean, you name it, and that's what they want to push. And guarantee you, like I said, you look up your city's comprehensive plan. By law, if they're in the Twin Cities, they have to have one, and they have to update it once a year. You will see things like tear this down and put up high-density housing, tear this down and put up TOD, transit-oriented development, add more bike lanes or add more sidewalks. It will all be on there without rezone this. It'll be everywhere.
Yeah, and each city has to have a water management plan, and that's run through the Met Council as well, and that's part of Agenda 21. It just, they're level upon level upon level, and it's everybody that's starting to find out about this and really dig their teeth in and learn. They're fighting it. They just passed something in Alabama to say, not in our state. We're not doing any of it.
Yeah, I think they made it, they can't even join ICLEI. No city or county can join it.
Yep, and San Francisco, they've got a huge Democrat group out there that's just livid about this stuff.
Really?
And they're pushing back, and they're almost eradicating it out of San Francisco.
There's also, in Arizona, there was a measure to try to defeat Agenda 21. It did not, it passed their House, but not their Senate or something. It failed. Governor Brewer had made it pretty clear that she would agree to it. So if it can get up again, Arizona's got a chance to be another state to take it out. And we talk about the Met Council and we talk about things like that. How about the County Transit Improvement Board? That's another one of our favorites.
Oh yeah.
The little known thing about the gas tax hike from 2008, and they're talking about another one, of course. We're going to tax drivers to pay for riders. That created what do you want to call it, a task force or a board made up again of elected officials, from all these counties, that has an $100 million budget, bonding authority, they have grant authority, all to take money away from transportation to put it into transit. So there's another board that's pushing TOD and all that stuff on us.
Can I say that I would like to mention that the people in Crystal have done a really fine job of really keeping their finger on the pulse of this problem and electing some actual conservatives. I'm not saying any brands or anything like that, but they got
people
elected
skeptical of this stuff
on the council that have vowed to fight back. And obviously you guys have heard of the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment, which says that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. But yet this Agenda 21 has their own constitution that says government may enter upon the land and act to put it in compliance. And that just flies directly in the face of our rights in this country.
Well, yeah, part of Agenda 21 is to remove personal property rights. And it's quoted right within there that they would have it that nobody has any right to personal property, and that it would be the property of everybody, that it could be used for the common good.
Yeah, the common good is something taken out of communism. Now, let me go back here. Think of how 180 degrees we have come in thinking. I mean, there was a time in America where you go back to the Homestead Act, you go back to before that, where the goal was to get people in their own land. That was the American dream. You go and you live free, and your national government is something far off. Look at how far we've come in completely going 180 in that.
Other than the Civil War, up until 1913.
Yeah, that's the famous year.
There's really little interaction between the people and the national government at any point.
Right. I mean, the armed forces, the post office, customs duty, and tariffs.
Yeah.
The only thing
Okay.
the federal government did.
Well, now they would like to take it a step further, and they want to authorize government to find landowners for noncompliance with conditions that the government decide. And so you could be taking a ride in this little environmental police car if you don't comply with the New World Orders governing of our country.
When you go back to that, what was that conference back in the 70s where they announced something about land that it cannot be treated, it leads to social injustice. Remember that
Yes.
quote? And it might be in your little booklet.
don't-
And it was
Okay.
public use of land is indispensable.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, look, private property rights is really the bedrock of a republic. I mean, we don't have private property rights in this country. We don't have anything. I mean, we've got nothing.
That's true. I mean,
And they spent, the federal government spent $4 million on little legislative handbooks to give our so-called leaders to help guide them into their direction.
And I love how they call it, they come up with little names to call this smart growth.
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart planning,
Yes.
Smart meters.
Yes.
Both
Yep.
smart.
Yep.
the grand
Let's
vision
outsmart 'em.
that
But
you need to
You'll
have.
see these terms over and over, and that's a great point. Is that it's not just we came up with this great term, let's use it. No, it's the same terms being used over and over and over.
To make it sound smart.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I get charged a lot with promoting conspiracy theories. I get email about it. I get charged with it publicly. I can handle that. I'm a public person. It doesn't bother me. But let me ask this. We already made this point, but I want to make it again. If everybody from ICLEI to the Met Council to the county, we live in Hennepin County, to the cities, to the state, to the Department of Transportation, to MnDOT, if they're all promoting you will see the exact same things. Transit-oriented development, walkability, complete streets. Now, either one of three things is going on. Either A, they're all in bed together, coming up with this in some secret room somewhere. B, they're all plagiarizing each other. Or C, they combine, share one brain. Now, you tell me, what is it? All of the above?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's the conspiracy?
Right here, the UN Conference on Human Settlements, established in 1976.
That was it.
It's all grown out from there.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and that's what it said. The public use of land is indispensable, and that private ownership, we've got to get
Contributes
rid of
to
it.
social injustice.
Yeah, and so that was the whole point. And so it goes back, as far as we can tell.
And again, we talk about the society as a whole, social injustice. We're a country based on individuals. Freedoms are for individuals. One of the problems is from government is they look at people and they put them into groups based on their economic status, based on their race, based on their ethnicity. And this is another way to do it, is to put people in groups and try to, it's a shell game. Try to move the shells around. So yeah, it just makes me want to throw up. And I'll tell you what else. The kooks and wackos are in every which place. Take somebody like Al Gore, for example. You want to talk about, is it a coincidence his book, Earth in the Balance, came out right when Agenda 21 came out in 1992? Because if you read it, it's Agenda 21 written. He calls for population control. Of course, his family won't drink cyanide or anything like that to cut down the population. He calls for worldwide socialism. He said the internal combustion engine was the biggest enemy that our country faced. He's called for a North American carbon tax. The kooks are, that guy came within 500 votes being elected president.
But yet
And who challenges him on it?
environmental police cars have what? Combustible engines.
Well,
So do as I say, not as I
Yeah,
do.
well, remember, it's like, the Kennedys hiding money out in,
Exactly.
in the Cayman
In
Islands or
rum
something.
bottles that they buried in the backyard.
So, we said that Agenda 21 isn't, it's not mandatory. We can choose whether we want to enact this part or that part, any of it, none of it. That's really up to our leaders. And at a local level, really, it's up to us. Now,
To poke those leaders with a hot stick.
Kyoto Protocol The U.S. did not sign on to that. That was a treaty that had to deal with parts of Agenda 21 and enforcing carbon emissions and things like that. Well, that expires this year. They did not meet their objectives. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. But they just had a conference in Doha, Qatar, which they tried to make a new Kyoto Protocol, and they wanted this ready to go when the Kyoto Protocol expired. Well, they were pretty unsuccessful, and it was kind of a disaster of a conference, I heard.
Well, they had the Rio Plus 20 conference.
That was
too.
last year.
Oh, okay,
I think, yeah.
Well, but the thing too about if it's really about the environment, if it's really about pollution, and look, there are true believers out there. And there are people who really are, I consider myself concerned about the environment. But here's the thing. China and India are the biggest polluters in the world, yet they were exempt from the Kyoto Treaty. So what does that tell you? It's not about the environment. It's about hurting capitalism. It's about taking our country and dragging us down and going after people's individual liberty. It's got nothing to do with the environment.
Using the education system to push this agenda as well.
Edumacation?